moments, those weeks, those days are really critical. And I think, insurance companies are notorious for pretending to be the good guy, to call you
Mm-hmm.
right away and to
Yeah.
say, I know that you've been injured. I'm going to send you this check. And I think that people are too quick to accept that, not realizing that then
Yes.
that's it. That's all they'll ever get. And
So welcome to our podcast. And this is our first official podcast. How does that feel knowing that you're our first guest?
I'm so honored, truly.
Honestly, too, it was like this is a perfect person to have this podcast with because I feel like you and I can really, or we already hit it off as it is, right? So these conversations will be great. But the way I kind of want to start this podcast is because this is mainly going to be about you. This is mainly going to be about Baggett Law. And so, I know you and I know your office, but for everybody else who's going to be watching, help tell me kind of how you got to where you are today, maybe starting from college to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's been a many years. Right, I know, time flies. I actually was an advertising major in college. So my
Didn't know that.
Yeah, right. So my first passion is creativity. And so I loved being an advertising major and creating advertisements. And I had a short job doing that where I would create ads and sell them to businesses. And I just
Wow.
loved it. It really didn't feel like work at all. But I always had also wanted to go to law school since I was a little girl. So I went to law school, and I did, I loved it. And then I graduated and I got a job in Jacksonville. My first job was working for a solo practitioner. And so I was just thrown into the courtroom immediately with all different types of cases, family law, personal injury, breach of contract, you name it. It was an amazing year of experience. And then I was hired to work at Rogers Towers as a litigation
Oh my
associate.
gosh. Yeah.
And, that's a really big firm. And at the time, it was even bigger than it is now. I think there were 100 attorneys when I started there. And so it was, much different than working with one attorney, but absolutely incredible experience there. And I was on the partnership track and I became partner the same year that I had my twins. And
Oh
so
my gosh.
I know it was one of those just like the timing was just ironic, right? To become a
Yeah.
parent in the same year that I'm making partner at the firm. But I absolutely loved my experience there. I am a people person, so being around so many people just really agreed with me. Loved it. But we had the twins, and all of my cases were outside of Jacksonville. So I was traveling so much. And then Matt opened Baggett Law when the twins were not even a year old. They were like 11 months old. And so Matt had always wanted to open his own firm. And so he said, I think the time is now. And the twins were still babies. But I said, okay. So he opened Baggett Law, and then seeing him, kind of grow the firm and be in that environment. And then I was still traveling all the time. We wanted to have more children. We did. 20 months later, our next child was born. And so at that point was really when I thought, you know what, I really want to join up with Matt and us to grow like the firm as a family business together as much as I loved,
Yeah.
working there. So I joined Matt in 2015. And then we adopted our fourth child a
Mhm.
couple of years later. And so, yeah, so we're all in, life and work and everything.
Holy cow. So to go back and start with the whole advertising aspect of everything, and can you give a shout out really quick to like your social media handle too? So if anyone wanted to look on your social media, they can.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Baggett Law, two G's, two T's.
It is. So the one thing about you guys, and I've talked to you about it before too, is how I really and truly feel like I know everybody, which I feel like I know pretty much everybody at your firm. But your social media team has really, really enlightened, everybody there through that. So do you feel like maybe the advertising aspect that you had in the very beginning has kind of helped some of that and where to know with advertising? And obviously advertising is ever changing, right? You start off with the magazines and the billboards and the commercials. And then when social media happened, you have so many different aspects and you have SEO. So do you feel like having that background and knowledge helped you, get to where you wanted to be?
100%. I think that formal training that I had in advertising was really critical to really kind of understanding the aesthetics and the visual for so many things as far as, I know all about, font, types and sizes
Yeah.
and how many you should use and, the way things should be structured together. And so it was actually just me. Originally, I thought, let's create a social media page for Baggett Law. And so I think having that training and advertising kind of helped me at least know what I was doing somewhat.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of grew from there. So it was just me for a long time. And then we hired Emily Campbell. She was
Hmm.
actually a legal assistant, but she was a marketing major at the time. And so she and I, kind of hit it off. And I just could
Hmm.
tell that she was also a creative type person. And
Yes.
so now, as you know, Emily runs our marketing department,
Yeah.
and it's so much bigger than it was, way back when, several years ago. But absolutely, I mean, Emily can tell you I'm such a stickler on everything from our newsletters to social media,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely, I think that formal training helped me kind of set the vision for what we do now.
Wow. And shout out to Emily. Yes, we love her so much. And she's done amazing things for your office.
Yes.
So now then to go back with, your children, I mean, props to you when you're talking about having twins and then, working and traveling. And then it sounds like with Matt opening, you're like, all right, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And I'm sure it was so much on your end to be able to balance a lot, but knowing what, the future outcome would be is got to be amazing. And to see where you guys are at now with your 4 kiddos, I mean, props to you guys, seriously. Such an amazing thing to be able to watch too. So with that, with you guys having your family, one thing that I have noticed about you guys is definitely the family aspect of your office, right? And a huge thing that I think I've noticed from your office besides that is you guys don't have turnover. Like I've really, really noticed that. Like every time I see, or like if there's an event going on and I see everyone from your office, I'm like, yes, these are the same people. You know what I mean? So kind of walk me through, your staff. And if anyone's watching this who's, thinking about maybe hiring you guys as their, team, what is the process once they get, into an accident? Who is kind of helping them along the way to kind of help work up their case?
Yeah, so those are, yeah, great questions. So I think that what sets us apart or makes us a little bit different in our hiring than most other law firms is that we don't hire based on resumes and experience alone. The number one thing that we're looking for are people that are a good culture fit, meaning
Mm,
they really want to do the work that we do. They're really passionate about it, they're really dedicated, and we're just looking for genuinely amazing people to join our team. We can teach people how to do the job components, but you can't teach compassion. You can't teach integrity. You can't teach empathy. All of these things, you either have it or you don't. And so I think having been in the legal profession for a long time, there are a lot of people, unfortunately, that don't like their jobs. It's probably not the field for them, but they never stopped to think about that and make a career switch. And I feel sorry for them. I really do. But Matt and I just knew that we really love our job, we really love our firm, and we wanted to work with people that were like-minded. There's a lot out there right now on social media, like the toxic work culture, and people
yes.
are so glad it's Friday and they hate their job. And we are the absolute opposite of that, and we really, so hiring is a big component, I think, of building an amazing team. And what we're looking for in the steps that we take in our hiring process, which is we take it anyone that works for us will tell you our hiring process is painfully slow, but that's intentional. We want to make
Yeah.
sure that we're hiring the right people and that it's the right fit for them. Changing jobs is a really big thing, and we just want to make sure that it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first thing that we do. And then, when it comes to what people can expect, one of our core values is to treat every case as though it's your most beloved family member's case. And I think that really does come through because, the work is inherently stressful. Working in the legal field can be stressful. There's a lot of, time pressure, of course, and insurance adjusters can be unkind.
Yeah. To
to
say the least.
yeah, to put it mildly. But we just always try to put that aside and really just think about the client, be focused on the client and treating every single case in the way that we would want if someone to treat, our most beloved family member.
Yeah, no, and I love that so much. And really and truly, I can tell with your whole office that, everyone is pretty much like family. And really and truly, I feel like that here, given that the CEO and COO, it's a father and son business. And when I first started working here almost 7 years ago, I mean, yeah, these people are my second family. And, you spend more time at work, you know what I mean, that you can do at home oftentimes. And so I will say that's one thing that we've really made sure to in our office is, like you said, the culture of family. I mean, even here, I'm sure it's like that with you guys, but we all hang out, outside of work as well. And they do say that the more that you and your employees all get along, obviously, the more work is actually going to be done, which I'm sure doesn't sound like that, especially if you're working with your friends. But everyone has someone to lean in on. And I'm sure it's the same for you guys too.
Absolutely, absolutely. No one can do their job in a vacuum. We all need each other to lean on. And
Yeah.
you're right, those personal connections that we make outside of work are the things that really, you're really there for each other at work and outside. And you meet your closest friends. I mean, most people know this, but Matt and I met at work. We were both associates at Rogers Towers years
Did I
ago.
know that?
We were like really good friends and we worked together. And then, to this day, some of my very best friends in life are people that I worked with, several years ago. And they were in our wedding and just, so it really is true. You're spending so much time at work and you really should love the work that you do and the people that you work with.
Yeah, you can tell there's definitely passion in that. So I love that. Now, if someone were to recently get into an auto accident and they're looking for a law firm to represent their case, why should they choose Baggett Law?
I think one thing that I always want people to know is that we don't just handle their case, we try to make sure that they're educated about the process so that they're fully informed and they really understand it. We take the education component really seriously, um, because we could, of course, just say we got it and go do the
Yeah,
work,
of course.
that'd be so easy. But it's really important that people understand what it is that we're doing and why it matters. And so, oftentimes, for instance, people don't even know what type of insurance they have when they call us. We
Mm,
want to make sure that not only are we going to handle your case based on the type of insurance that you have and work, with the insurance company now, but that going forward, you'll be fully informed. If you want to make different decisions about the type of insurance you have, you'll fully understand how that works going forward. So you'll take, not only the case results, but some benefit in your life moving forward. And then the other thing I think I would say, I love it when people call different law firms before they hire.
okay.
I
Okay.
really, really do because, and I tell people this, I'm often asked, people ask me for referrals to other types of lawyers, for like a family law referral. And I always say you should call a few different law firms because that first impression, that is
Mm,
probably going to be the way that the relationship goes. So if you call a law firm and they don't call you back or they don't get back to you timely, then you shouldn't expect that your case is going to be handled any differently. And so I really think that that is something, if people call around, I think that they'll know what the right fit is. And of course, I think that we're the right fit
yeah, of
because I
course.
know I know how much we care about every single person that calls our office, even if we can't take their case. We're
Yeah.
happy to try to get them resources or in the hands of a lawyer that can take their case. So I encourage people to educate themselves and call around and decide who do they think is the right fit for their case.
Wow. Yeah, okay. I was not expecting the answer, but that's an amazing answer, but just goes to show you you're not looking for just that one more. You genuinely want to help them and make sure that they're finding a truly good fit for their case. So that is a reflection on you. And I really, really love that. That's awesome. Now, for the locations you guys have, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. So we have three locations. We have our main office is in downtown Jacksonville, and then we have two smaller satellite locations. One is on Bay Meadows Road on the south side of town, and then another is in Nocatee.
Yes, and I think yeah, I have been to all of your locations. Was your first one in Ponte Vedra, or was it the one off of Bay Meadows?
So our original office location was in San Marco, but then Bay Meadows was the next. And we closed the San Marco location when I joined Baggett Law, and we opened the
Okay.
Bay Meadows office. And so we just had the Bay Meadows office for a long time, and then we opened Nocatee, and then we opened downtown.
Wow. Is there any talks about maybe one day opening anything else, or do you guys feel like the three right now is good with where you're at?
There are always talks. Right? So yes, I do think you'll see more Baggett Law offices in the near future.
No, we love that. And I have been noticing, did you guys just start doing billboards?
We did,
I
yeah.
thought I thought I saw some, and I actually had messaged Emily because I was on my drive home one day, and I was on Phillips Highway. It was one of the schools, one of the science schools. I'm trying to think, but I had your poster, and I was stopped at a red light, and I was like, I know them. That's amazing. So I'm starting to see those billboards, and definitely more marketing on that side of things coming about. So I love that.
Thank you.
Okay, so another thing that I want to talk about is just how our company and your company, could be similar in certain ways, right? So for us, when patients are in an accident, they have unfortunate injuries, they call integrity to be treated by our specialists. And when they leave, it really is amazing to see, especially sitting in the front, seeing these patients coming in, just hurt, upset, so many different emotions, right? Because this is something that comes out of the blue. But to be able to see them go into these exam rooms, see the, specialists, whether it's a neurosurgeon or a general orthopedic surgeon or pain management, to have time to talk with them, give them their treatment plans and or maybe an injection to kind of help them along the way. It's so amazing to see them leave with a smile on their face and just knowing that they're being heard. Um, where do you see this happening at Baggett Law?
Well, I think you're right. We're both in the business of helping people
Yeah.
and helping people in ways that they can't help themselves. Unfortunately,
Yes.
they need doctors to, put themselves back together and to heal, and they need lawyers to navigate the legal system. So I really think that you're absolutely right about that. And we see that too. People, you know, there's a phrase grudge transaction. I don't know if you've heard that before.
Mm-mm.
It's the type of thing that we all have to do at some point, but we don't want to do. So,
Yeah.
like buying car insurance, nobody wants to do it, but we have to do
Yeah.
it. Well, the same thing is true about hiring a lawyer or going to a doctor. Nobody wants to have to do that, right? We
Yeah.
all hope that we're always in perfect health and hope that we never have any legal problems. But at some point in time, for a lot of people, they're in a position where they have to call a law firm and they don't want to be calling us, but we recognize that,
Yeah.
and so kind of just knowing that that's their situation when they're calling us, I think, and then seeing, like you said, that transition to the end of the case and being able to reach a resolution for them, whether through settlement or trial, so that they can go forward and live the rest of their life, and that we've kind of, been a part of that process that's ultimately, created good.
Yeah. Without a doubt. But what was it called? The grudge? What
A
process?
grudge transaction, yeah.
Grunge transaction. Wow. I'm like already listing so many things in my head. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely one. Like jury duty, all these things where you're like, I don't want to have to do it, but sometimes it has to happen, right? It's just a part of
Exactly.
life.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. That's the thing, with young new people on our marketing team, I explain that because, we're not selling handbags, right?
Mm.
It's something that
Hmm.
people aren't coming to Baggett Law because they want to and they're so excited. They're coming to Baggett Law because something really bad has happened in their
Yeah.
life, and it's just completely different. And so we have to, every single person on our team has to be mindful of that and not lose sight of that because our clients are the heartbeat of everything that we do.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I love that you guys take such amazing care. So this has been so nice to have this conversation with you about it. What is the biggest mistake that you see your clients sometimes making? And maybe they might not even be your clients in the very beginning. Maybe it's just a personal injury patient. What is something that you see maybe in their process that you could give advice on?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's and early on after someone has been injured, I think those moments, those weeks, those days are really critical. And I think, insurance companies are notorious for pretending to be the good guy, to call
Mm-hmm.
right away and to
Yeah.
say, I know that you've been injured. I'm going to send you this check. And I think that people are too quick to accept that, not realizing that then
Yes.
that's it. That's all they'll ever get. And they don't even know the extent of their injuries or the
Yes.
cost of future medical care, all of those things. And I think that there are a lot of people that they believe that a legal claim, is a dirty word almost. They don't want to bring a lawsuit,
Uh,
to hire a lawyer because they feel badly for the person in a car
Yes.
accident maybe that hit them. But the way that we look at it, we try to educate clients, but that person purchased car insurance because
Yep.
mistakes happen,
Yes.
right? And so, like we all do, we've all been paying insurance premiums, month after month. And we're doing that because we recognize mistakes may happen. So when mistakes happen, to not then, seek compensation from the insurance company is
Yes.
essentially, letting them walk away, with all of those premiums that someone has been paying, and we're not holding them, to their end of the bargain. So,
Yeah, and we've definitely seen that on our side of things. We've had patients who, don't have an attorney yet, have maybe gone to a chiropractor, after an accident, and have been seen in our office by specialists and have been recommended a surgery, and or other treatment that we could do in the office, with interventional pain. And, they'll call us back and they'll let us know not long after that, insurance is on a payout. And it's like, I really wish, and we try to educate as much as we can, but sometimes I think they just see, that dollar and they're like, this is the best that it can be. I don't, like you said, I don't want to go after anybody. I don't want to be a nuisance, even though they're not. This is something that they've just gone through that's extensive. Um, but sometimes I think that that's good enough, and that's really hard to witness and know, because you never know. Especially if they recommended surgery, there could be other things, that could come up later on in the future, and so that's really hard to see. But I couldn't agree more with you on that end of things, and it's crazy. We're seeing the both sides of the same thing too. Um, so on here too, what is the best compliment, before we wrap this up, that you think that you've ever received?
absolutely the best compliment for us is a referral by a former
You
client.
love.
I
Okay.
mean, it really is. That's truly the best compliment, and we're fortunate that happens often. And so it's just great, because then people also feel like they kind of know us before they give us a call, because they know someone else has had a great experience. So far and away, that referral is the best compliment.
Yeah, without a doubt. No, we love that. I'm sure it's going to be so nice, obviously, given the circumstances, right? But to know, hey, my mother or my brother or anything else like that in between has, been represented by you guys, and it shows how much trust that they've had. So here for that. We love it. We love it. Well, Amanda, thank you so much. This has been so nice, and to hear a lot more about Baggett Law and hear more about you and how you guys started. That was honestly one of the most impressive things, I think, also from taking away this podcast, is how much you had on your plate and you still persevered. I'm like, us women are just, it's the moms too that always get stuff done no matter what. And that is the absolute truth. Without a doubt, the absolute truth. Well, if you guys, of course. And if you guys do have, any patients, or not patients, but clients, and maybe they need a second recommendation or anything else like that, definitely keep integrity in mind, and we'll definitely stay in touch. Aw, thank you. Thank you, Amanda. We'll talk soon, okay? Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.